CarShield.
Welcome to Jags Drive Time with Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
Welcome in Jaguars Drive Time, Monday morning, brought to you by CarShield. Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton here with you. You are watching some highlights from yesterday's scrimmage inside the stadium. First time in TIAA Bank Field in a very long time, and 15,000 fans showed up. Now, Saturday was a legit scrimmage. It was the most intense practice we've seen of training camp, whereas yesterday was more so game management, but there were still tons of highlights to talk about, and we're going to talk about them this morning. Right, John?
I assume out of 15,000 people, 14,999 came to see Trevor Lawrence in some capacity, and I think they saw that. So, I was entertained this weekend. I'm not easily entertained.
I was hot. It was hot yesterday morning.
It was miserable.
And the more that Urban Meyer kept the team out there, the more I thought he's not missing the chance to get these guys ready to go for September 19th when the Broncos are in town. Taking advantage of every rep he can get in this sweltering heat.
Yes, it was a long practice.
I was none too pleased with Urban at about 11:45.
Yeah, we're looking
I was doing the old.
I was in an air-conditioned booth, but the sun was beating in.
Oh,
but
I feel terrible for you.
I felt what it must be like to be you for once.
Oh,
both that I was cool and
were you
were
ecstatic
not. I enjoyed it.
And happy?
I enjoyed it. It was nice.
It was really hot,
and
I was not well. You guys don't understand when you have to put makeup on and then it's sweat. It's just miserable, and you don't know what to do. One day you'll understand.
You can't go one practice without the makeup.
No, because then you don't look good. It's this whole thing.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
It's that. How do you want to? Do you want to look good or do you want to feel good?
Right. So then I put the visor on.
When you know you're going to be in that stadium on a September Sunday afternoon, worry about how you feel.
Indeed.
Hydrate.
All right, so here we go. Big things. Big thing one is that throw. It was the highlight of the scrimmage, is the throw that everyone is talking about. Trevor Lawrence to Laquan Treadwell, who has been lights out so far in training camp. And honestly, Trevor Lawrence has had a highlight like this every day, but I will go as far as say this was his best throw of training camp. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of that throw that he ended Clemson Pro Day with, where you thought, oh, you're never going to see that again. That'll never happen in real life. And it definitely did. Head coach Urban Meyer, though, is talking all about the guy who caught that ball, Laquan Treadwell.
What was this guy doing last week? He was at home. The next thing I know, he's playing for the Jaguars. So I think I admire guys like that, and they've been really good. Treadwell came in, and I tell you, he's in the hunt for a spot.
Big thing, too, is Joe wasn't kidding. That is defensive coordinator Joe Collin, of course. And we asked him, what is this defense going to look like? He didn't give us many details, but he did say it's going to be aggressive. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday.
Well, I think, as I said last week, in our scheme, we'll blitz anybody, anywhere, from anywhere on the field. A corner can come, a safety can come, a nickel. But yes, our linebackers are going to be asked to blitz.
And finally, big thing 3 is young guns. Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell, Luke Farrell, all of them were making plays yesterday in front of all of those fans. But number 16 shined, and he has some advice for those young guys.
I feel good. There's things you got to learn, and everyone's better and faster. But at the end of the day, it's still football. We got really good players on offense. They got really good players on defense. And it's just finding your players, and at the end of the day, not making it bigger than it is. It's still the same game.
All right, let's go back to big thing 1, that throw. Everyone knows the throw we're talking about.
Can we just go ahead and release the depth chart right now? I mean,
it was pretty.
There's not another quarterback who was here yesterday who makes that throw. And I struggled. I was trying to think of how many times I've seen that throw. And I've seen it through the years, but it reminded me of, if you recall, the trip to Denver in 1995. The game was tighter than it should have been, and John Elway rolled right and threw that exact same pass to Anthony Miller for a touchdown. I've never forgotten it, because then the game blew wide open. And I had to go back to that John Elway throw to remember that that's special of an arm. That was a big-time throw. No one else can do it. He's the guy.
Yeah, Elway Schlin would make throws that the defense didn't defend because most quarterbacks don't make them. And that was that sort of throw. I don't know that throw yesterday was quite that, but it showed he's capable of that. And it's like Ashlyn said in one of the intros, he's done that with the exception of maybe last Monday when they were first going into contact and maybe Tuesday. He's done that at least once a practice where you've said, okay, that's why he's number 1 overall. So
there was also a throw where he threaded a touchdown pass. I forget, was it Tyler Davis? It was or Ellis. It was a tight end. It was down in the south end zone where, again, he recognized it immediately, stepped up, and delivered the ball right on the spot. And you thought, again, I haven't seen a Jaguars quarterback do that.
It's not perfection yet, but we're 2 weeks into this thing.
Yeah.
What you're seeing are the flashes of that's special. That's what most quarterbacks can't do. There are 5-10 in the league who can do it. Jaguars never had one.
Right.
But you're seeing the flashes of, okay, a franchise quarterback can make the difference of maybe he makes the difference of 7 points a game. 1 touchdown a game that you get because he's special. Well, most games in the league are decided by 7 points. So that's why they make a difference. That's why he'll make a difference.
Yeah, and you look at it's still noted as a quarterback competition, and Gardner Minshew's getting equal reps. And my headline this morning, we recall from last week.
It's the only thing that's equal.
Yeah.
Nothing else is equal.
I was going to say, well, he's the starter today. That's not the case. We have not heard that news. So now you're kind of asking, all right, well, when's it going to be? When are we going to do this?
It'll be when it'll be. C'est la vie, c'est la vie.
Yeah, right.
It'll be fine.
But let's not.
It'll be fine. But
here's the throw for the touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah. And again,
O'Shaughnessy.
I get that Ashlyn wants to have the payoff on her.
I want my answers.
On her big thing. The big picture, rest easy, let the joy go over your body.
You bet.
The kid's going to be for real.
Yeah.
He is. Now let's talk defense. We're still trying to figure out what it's going to look like, but I thought yesterday you finally saw some flashes of who maybe more so the playmakers will be on defense.
Well, so, my headline from last week's show, the Tomorrow's Headlines Today thing that we did was, the young guys were going to show that they're ready to start competing for jobs here. And I had watched Tyson Campbell come on last week. The first week of practice, I didn't see 32 do anything that made me say, oh. And then last week goes, oh, wow, look at that. I mean, consistently he was in position to make plays. And then he made a couple of them yesterday where you saw his range, his length, his instincts. He really showed me something, excited me with what I think he's capable of doing. They've been playing him mostly inside. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get more looks outside based on the way that he ran yesterday.
Urban Meyer is interesting to listen to because he obviously knows football at an incredibly high level. But when he talks about players, he'll give you insights very succinctly about why they like guys. And over again with Tyson Campbell, he talks about he has speed. He doesn't panic when the ball's in the air because he has speed to make up distance on the ball when it's in the air. They love this guy's athleticism. And yesterday, talking about Tyson Campbell, he said, we're glad we have him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that translates into I've seen a lot out of this kid. I know he's going to be a football player for us. So, so far, so good.
Can you imagine being a high school quarterback playing American Heritage High down in South Florida when they had him and Patrick Surtain?
Yeah.
The second,
you had
right?
stood no chance.
Alabama, Georgia, first pick of the second round. I mean, he has rare physical traits, which is what they're looking for in these guys. The length and the speed and the feet and all of those things. And he popped off the screen yesterday. And I know that's young guns, and that's the third big thing. But when I watched the defense, I saw him and Caleb Chaisson yesterday, and Rayshon Jenkins flashed. Joe wasn't
Shaq
kidding.
Griffin was his normal
Shaq
self.
Griffin's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, we will talk much more about those young guns when we come up with hot takes right here on Jaguars Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch, an online or phone chat for those quick questions, and a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
It's your chance to be part of the new era of Jaguars football. Become a season ticket member for exclusive insider access and experiences. Secure your seats for the best price at jaguars.com/tickets. We're back, Jaguars Drive Time. It is Monday. It is a player day off after the Jaguars practice for 3 days over the weekend, just to be back on the practice field tomorrow to get ready for first preseason game Saturday.
Game.
Finally, a game.
Yeah, and Bucky was in and did the broadcast with us yesterday, and he had been in Cleveland for the NFL Network. When you had Baldinger out here.
Yep.
He was in Cleveland, and he said they look the part now. I mean, he's not a big fan of the quarterback, but he said that the size on their offensive line, their tight ends, the receivers, their defensive line, as you know, is stacked. So even though you're not going to see everyone all evening, he said you're going to be able to see some matchups. You're going to be able to test put Tyson Campbell out there, right, and run him against those wide receivers. Put Jarvis Landry on the other side. Yeah, that's going to be a nice test. So you're getting a team right out of the gate that doesn't just have playoff expectations. They want to challenge Kansas City and see if they can win the AFC this year.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting. Head coach Urban Meyer yesterday was talking about how obviously he's never done this before with a preseason game. He's going to have a long meeting today to decide how they're going to run it. But it seems like it's not going to be the conventional, okay, starters have this number of series. He wants to see some things, and I don't think that number of series is going to matter too much to him.
Well, it's hard to know what conventional is going to be this year because you're without that fourth game anyway.
Right.
So I'm not sure that there's going to be, over the course of the league, I'm not sure there's a standard best practices yet for a 3-game preseason. I do think you'll see more frontline guys on the Jaguars for a little longer because of what Ashlyn referenced in the first couple of games. And then I expect that third game still to be the closest thing to a dress rehearsal. But at some point, you got to get guys on the field that you have to evaluate. So maybe I'm alone. I thought 4 preseason games were key. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they break it down. But I do think more frontline Jaguars guys will play on week 1 than you will see in the future.
And I think it's interesting to note that they will also put guys in situations based on matchups, right? So you might pull Juwan Taylor if what they have started to do and put Walker Little at right tackle is any indication, because you'd like to see him line up against Garrett,
right?
Or Jadeveon Clowney, who's there now. You might want to see him get a couple reps against these guys. See if he's ready to handle it, right? You might put a guy back in the second quarter because of a matchup. You want to see a receiver against a corner. I think anything that's conventional that we've been accustomed to is on the table.
I have a theory that Jadeveon Clowney actually plays for 17 different NFL teams.
He really does.
And they always play the Jaguars 5 times a year.
And you never get rid of him.
No.
I'm convinced that's true. Google that.
Houston, Tennessee.
He just likes playing the Jaguars. It's his thing.
Cleveland.
Yeah. All right, it's time for hot takes.
Yes.
Brian Sexton, you're up.
Well, I think the prevailing wisdom is that when you have a quarterback, especially one I think that's showing us as good as he is capable of being, taken number 1 overall, He's got all the momentum to be the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL. He's probably the favorite if they do such things in Las Vegas. But
you're going to say, hold on there, big fella.
I am going to say hold on there, big fella, because if I recall, Peyton Manning, who went into the Hall of Fame yesterday, whose storied career you helped chronicle, threw 28 interceptions his rookie season. Travis Etienne is not going to throw interceptions, right? Travis Etienne is just going to make plays. And unless he fumbles the ball 16 times, at which point he wouldn't be on the field anyway. He's a guy, there was a play in particular yesterday where he got on the hip of the guard and let the guard go in front of him, and he crossed his hips over and went back the other direction.
He knows how to run.
He's does,
impressive.
and he's got such explosiveness, not just speed, but suddenness, change of direction, quickness. He is going to be a killer matchup for linebackers and safeties because he just has something special. And it's nothing that you can put in a height, weight, strength column. But by the way, he did 18 reps of 225 at the combine, so he's got plenty of strength. He isn't the biggest in terms of looking like like a Carlos Hyde looks, right?
Stocky.
But boy, he does things that running backs can't. And I think before it's all said and done, you're going to see his name in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
It's interesting. The comparison's not quite there because Marshall Faulk was a veteran by the time Peyton got there. But Marshall Faulk was in the backfield when Peyton Manning first got to the Colts, and he relied on him tremendously the first year. Travis Etienne feels to me like he could be this generation, a Marshall Faulk type with being able to run and receive.
It's funny because when Bucky and I were talking on the broadcast yesterday, he said he came in thinking that the Alvin Kamara comparison, which we'd all heard about, it wasn't accurate because Kamara was so good as a receiver, so good lining up anywhere across the formation, and then they moved him around yesterday, and he made some plays. He said, I might be wrong on that. That might be a better comparison than I thought.
Well, he just had to prove it. I mean, that when he was strapping, you're like, all right, come on, pump the brakes. But now every single day he's making plays. You're like, all right, he might be closer than we thought.
Maybe.
All right, John, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm not sure how hot this is. I wish it was hotter. But maybe,
hot enough.
Just maybe the lights are going on for Caleb Chaisson. And when I say that, I almost feel bad saying it because it's not like the lights weren't on last year. He was a rookie pass rusher, and those guys having huge seasons are rare. So I'm not one of these people who all off season has been down on Caleb Chaisson. But early in camp, he had the day where Walker Little beat him on multiple reps. And there was a thought of, okay, is this just not going to work? Well, in the last couple of days, all of a sudden you're seeing speed rush, you're seeing sacks. He had a play on Saturday where he defensed a pass downfield, and in the very next rep, he got a pressure back. Now, it still doesn't look to me like he has honed all the skills and is polished yet. But Urban Meyer, after practice yesterday, said he talked about gaining respect for him. He talked about him having a good camp. It feels like that's coming around. And, boy, if he and Josh Allen are as good as their draft status, how that changes them rapidly defensively. If Calebon's good and Josh is good, now all of a sudden you've got Jack good, Calebon good, Allen good. All of a sudden you've got a lot of good players on defense,
Shaq
which
Griffin,
I didn't feel like you had last year. So, that premium pick is supposed to be special. People haven't counted. I don't know that people are thinking of Calebon as special right now going into the season. Maybe the light's coming on for him.
I got the sense coming into training camp that the coaching staff wanted to see more from him than they saw in OTAs, that they didn't see the qualities that made him a first-round pick in OTAs. And then the last couple of days of practice, kind of like the end of last season, his arrow was pointing up at the end of last season, and the last couple of days the arrow is pointing up as well. The most impressive play I thought that he had yesterday was down the sideline in coverage because he was running with a much smaller guy. Was it Laviska he was running with? He was
running the one from Saturday. Yeah, there was one.
He wasn't running with Luke Farrell. He was running with a guy who was much quicker than he would think to be, and he was right down the field with him.
And honestly, you're not used to seeing it. I remember Saturday's practice when John, the play's talking about, you look down the field and you're like, oh, that's Calebon. Oh, right. He's way down there. What's going on?
Well, and it's special athleticism, and you wonder if maybe the coaches are also figuring out, because he's a different looking guy in terms. He's not Josh Allen.
No.
In terms of just the physical specimen, and you think, wow, this guy's put on this earth to rush the passer. So he's not that. So you wonder if maybe the coaches are figuring out, okay, here's how we can use this guy. And as Urban says, A to B, play fast. He's certainly that guy.
Yeah. Well, in this particular scheme, with that outside backer, / pass rusher role, they can do so many more different things than in the 4-3 scheme. So that's allowing them to tailor it to his skills.
Yeah, you're seeing them get pretty creative with him, like we've never seen before. All right, we're going to go tight ends. That's what everyone wants to talk about.
You're coming up here with the rare Ben Ellefson hot take.
Yeah.
He didn't get that many hot takes.
He doesn't, but he's getting one today.
I like this.
Ben Ellefson is going to lead the tight ends this season in targets. What do you think of that? You don't like it. Let me explain why.
I think you may be right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to have to argue this. All right, so we're starting to see during training camp, we're starting to see those connections, those relationships. Quarterbacks have their favorite targets. And I take notes every training camp practice. I look at them at the end of the day. Ben Ellefson's name is on there 3-4 times a practice.
So you're basing this in fact, not just an opinion.
Oh, indeed. Like every good journalist does.
Okay.
Ben Ellefson, I think he sees this opportunity that it's everyone's for the taking. This tight end number one, you will say. I mean, it's James O'Shaughnessy. It's Luke Farrell. Why not Ben Ellefson? And I think that he is leading training camp so far in targets and looking pretty good.
Well, I wrote in one of my camp observations last week that this is a group that is pretty similar. I mean, none is going to move that far ahead of the other. And they're solid guys, right? They're decent blockers. They're decent route runners. They're good with their hands. There's no superstar in there. I'm going to disagree with you. I think James O'Shaughnessy is quickly proving that he's that subtle little guy that gets open. I think he might become, because of his veteran presence, because he was here last year. But I get your point that Ellefson is as close as any of them to being the guy.
Ellefson last year kept being on the team because he was not drafted, and he wasn't a guy that you had heard of coming in. He kept being on the team, and you kept hearing from the coaches last year that it wasn't really a question that he was on the team. Yeah. I mean, he was some rookies are barely on the 53, and they might be the guy to get cut the next week. They liked him. My understanding is this group likes him a lot. Tight ends often come from very humble beginnings. I kind of lean with Ashlyn. I kind of think he might wind up being the guy. I think it's going to be very close no matter what. Right. I don't think anybody's going to have 75, but I think he's much more in that conversation than most people think.
Yeah, and then it makes you really curious, okay, then what do they do with these tight ends and how many do they keep? Because at the beginning of training camp, I wasn't sold that, honestly, Ellefson was going to make the team. And now I'm thinking, of course he makes the team. And then what?
Yeah, it feels to me like Ellefson, O'Shaughnessy,
Farrell.
Manhertz, and Farrell.
Yeah. And then Tyler Davis as well. I mean, that was a draft pick, and it's going to be interesting.
Yes, it will be.
It'll shake out the way it shakes out. When we come back, what's new in the AFC South? A lot for the Indianapolis Colts, and we will talk about that right here on Jaguars Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill, everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit ADECOUSA.com.
It's a fact. All cars will eventually break down. If you have CarShield, you can protect yourself from the high cost of auto repairs. And they're America's #1 auto protection company. Your transmission, engine, and car's computer system are all covered. Get the ultimate vehicle service protection. Call CarShield now at 800-471-1223. That's 800-471-1223.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
We're back, Jaguars Drive Time, brought to you by CarShield this Monday morning. I was just explaining to these gentlemen, Fashion Pass, rent the wrong way. This new clothing rental company that is sweeping the nation for females, and they just don't get it.
Well, we're not supposed to. Right.
The things we talk about on commercial breaks, someone should just make a video one day.
No.
Fashion Pass keeps calling me saying, we need you to be ours, but I say no.
Yes, you should be on their Instagram. Yes. You're the clientele they're targeting.
Yes.
All right, so let's go around the AFC South. A lot has happened. We talked about the Houston Texans a few weeks ago and the confusion that is there. So we're going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. And this is really just odd how this happened. Quarterback Carson Wentz has an extra bone in his foot, needs to get surgery to remove it. Okay, that's going to happen. Now you have questions of when he returns. A couple days later, star offensive lineman Quentin Nelson says, "Oh, I have the same thing." Right? Correct? Am I right?
Basically, and
like that. How does that happen?
It is odd. It's particularly odd that may be the two most important players on their team,
without a doubt.
So
Quentin Nelson is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Their line is not even close to being the same without him.
I think they're good. A lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people think they'll go in the tank because of this. I think they're good anyway because I think they have a really good roster. I think they're really well coached. I think they're still dangerous without Wentz. But, they were certainly counting on him to be special.
If they have to rely on a Jacoby Brissett kind of quarterback, then they are what they were 2 years ago, which is 8-8. But I think they'll get Wentz back.
Yeah, it sounds like they're back for regular season.
Or shortly after the regular season begins. They won't miss too much time. But I'm with you. Their roster's really good. I mean, Darius Leonard got a $100 million contract because he's really freaking good. And Buckner up front made a massive difference. They're expecting Quiddy, their first-round pick from Michigan, to be a big-time player. They're a really talented roster, and they felt they were a quarterback away from getting past the Buffaloes of the world last year and advancing into the playoffs. So they go and they gamble on Wentz. So they're still a quarterback away.
Yeah.
That's it. If the quarterback comes back, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, "Oh well, Nick Foles, go get him," and it doesn't seem like that's happening.
Go get him. That would be great. I think he's the man. Go get him.
I'm sure they're listening to you. But I saw some Jaguars fans that are like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. I mean, this means the Jaguars are the favorite, the Colts, the
My
Texans."
16-year-old said that to me yesterday.
Yeah.
I go, whoa.
Exactly.
Take a look at their roster and see. And by the way, he goes, "Dad, we're going to win the division." And I said, just hold on. You got to take a look at their roster and see what they've got. You got to look at the whole roster of the Titans and the Colts, and they're more advanced still than this roster is. Even though this roster is exciting, those two rosters are filled with veteran players who have done it on Sundays before. Mm-hmm. And that's why those two teams will stay 1 and 2 in the division.
Well, Jaguars need to win a couple of games.
Well, that's
first.
what I mean. They've done it.
Yeah. So, as we're talking about the South, I know all Jaguars fans inherently hate the Titans, and I get it. And people always want to downgrade the Titans because they don't look, I guess because of Tannehill. There's a disbelief in him that I think causes to me, the Titans know how to play. They know what they are, and they know what they want to do. A team like that is very dangerous until you beat them, because they're usually not going to give things away, either over the course of the season or over the course of a game.
Stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah. And until then,
they know exactly what they want to do, and they've done it to this team over and over and over.
Yes, they have. Some scary times there.
The Colts are a very well-coached team as well, and I think you have to take that into consideration.
Yes, I don't think just because those two guys are gone for a couple of weeks, you can hoot and holler.
Now, if they're gone the maximum, if they don't come back until mid-season, right? If they're out 12 weeks, that changes the complexion completely. But if it's the 5-week variety, no, they'll be fine.
Did you just say hoot and holler?
Hoot and holler.
Okay, all right. That's a good way to close.
When we come back on Jags Drive Time, some closing thoughts here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At ViStar, we believe in better. Better convenience, so members can bank any way they want. Whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
If your car is out of manufacturer's warranty, don't get stuck with expensive mechanical and computer repairs. Call CarShield now. We're back, Jags Drive Time. It is Monday. It is a player day off. We still have drive time for you, though.
Have a Thursday, too, right?
Yes, we do. And we're back on the practice field Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe.
Correct.
Another player day off on Friday. Preseason game on Saturday.
Yeah, here we go.
We just don't stop, do we?
We're in it.
Yeah. I had someone in the lobby this morning go, "Are you tired?" I was like, "Nah, tired."
I'm 26 years old. I shouldn't be tired.
I hadn't even started yet.
No.
I mean, yeah.
If you're tired now, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
No, I think there's an energy level in this building, and you can feel it. I mean, even as young as this team is, as new as the coaching staff is, together, you can't deny that the energy level is really high. And I made a comment to a guy at Publix last night. The interesting part is it rarely in the history of this league, when you have a team coming off a season like this team is, that there's no residue, there's no stink attached to the fact that they stunk last year. And instead, it's gone, and everyone is so focused and so energetic. Rarely do you see the coin flip that fast.
Yeah, and Coach Meyer has expected a lot of this team, and you would think maybe there's some dragging feet. We haven't seen any of it these past couple of days.
No, we have not.
No, we have not. And that is Jaguars Drive Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay with us on Jaguars.com this entire week. We will see you right back here Thursday morning.